All right, I'd like to call the OnPoint Board of Directors meeting to order now, and please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I'll now call the roll. Kimberly?
Yes.
Here. Glenn?
Yes, here, Brenda.
Jessica, I heard is maybe on virtual. I talked with her earlier and she was hoping to, was she for the program now? No, okay. She had hoped to. But, all right. Mark,
Here.
Crystal,
Here.
Gail,
Present.
Beth,
Here.
here, Jane.
Here.
Deb, here, and Karen.
Here.
Great. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to address the board on agenda items only? I'll remind everybody that we have an opportunity later for public comment if you want to. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and does anyone wish to add or change anything on the agenda? If not, may I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Crystal,
Second to that motion.
Gail, any discussion? All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Agenda is approved. Does anyone wish to remove any of the items under the consent agenda in order to discuss them individually? If not, may I have a motion to approve all the items on the consent agenda?
I would move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Yeah, okay, support?
Support.
Jane? Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, Jane, will you please give us a report on today's program committee?
Sure. So we had two presentations. One was the medication clinic services by Angel Hopkins. And the second was the occupational therapy by Rebecca D. Hart and Brandon Lang. So the psychiatric medication clinic offers virtual and in-person options still. They have 10 employees that support their services. They did add a medication assistant treatment recently. And 4/17 of this year, they began serving clients with substance use disorders. They also have 3 ER physicians. They currently have 1 open position. And from October of 2024 through June 30th, they have had 3,935 service encounters. And then the occupational therapy side, they serve a wide range of clients from 3 years old to 80 plus. They're a 2-person team. They did say some of the barriers that they have. The insurance is kind of tricky with billing. They have limited space for clients, limited storage space. There is an issue within Crane with it. It takes extra time because it does not pre-populate when they go from screen to screen. And their wish long-term would be to have more access to speech therapy and physical therapy. That's it.
Any questions for Jane? Thank you. Beth, will you please give us your report from today's finance committee?
Okay, over on page 5, if you want to follow along, the financials are reflective through the end of May. We're still looking at roughly $121,000 back to the LRE and 237,000 to the state. Within human resources, they're still working on updating policies and going through that. And the big takeaway for me to this month was onboarding and probation is now called an introductory period because it's more welcome. So, but they are doing a lot of tough work. Like, I'm glad you guys kind of chose it. The focus groups on the employee survey, they are still meeting and they're really focusing in on leadership and communication. The information technology, it is finally, hopefully working. We'll know tomorrow if the fiber is connected to the courthouse. ShareCode did go from the road to wherever, up and over and around, and got it connected for us. Our backup service will become Frontier and then we'll drop Charter. So hopefully all the IT stuff when it comes to the internet will be put to bed here shortly. Thank goodness. So we were shown for the facilities, the MAT, the acronym medical, the MAT room.
Well, medication assisted treatment or medication.
Okay,
There's other.
okay. We actually seen a timeline of the 5 major areas of, getting the drawings and going out for bids and permits and the actual construction. And they're hoping it's a 12 to 14 week construction done by the end of this year. So that room is going to be under construction here shortly. So. All right, I'm jumping over the motions for the financials on page 10 or 11. Let's go to page 11. The summary of the revenues and expenses. Once again, the LRE is going to get the 121, the Medicaid subtotal on the far right. Going down to the general fund, what we're expecting to give back to the state is at 237. On the far right. The redirect from the general fund this month was 73,000 that went back into the CCBHC side of the building. Talking about the CCBHC as it is, I got notes all over the place here. We talked about visits and like from our how many visits we budgeted. So we could hit our revenues. 2-3 months ago, we were like 700 visits behind. We are now in the month of May down to about 300. So we cut it in half. And so a lot of kudos to the people working on that. That's about it for that page. Moving on to page 12. The cash and cash equivalents is a year-to-date surplus in Medicaid, the first line item there. Going down to liabilities, due to the other governmental units, we budgeted 2.2, it's around 2.5 at this point. It's an increase over 20 fiscal year. I put school year on here. You like that one, don't you? Fiscal year 24. So that's they're keeping an eye on that. If you go down to the bottom of the page at net position, that unrestricted on the far right is about roughly 2.6. And I will not go into the full investment policy, but we have some money in daily rates that is very liquid. We have our cash earning 4%. There's a big piece that is going into CDs and treasury bills. And then there's a USDA repair and replace that we're required to do because of the new building. And that has money, but all of these investment tools are very secure. We had pretty good discussion on like, you're not risking anything, are you? And they assured us, they're not. And all of them are getting around 4 to 4.2, some even, up to 4.1%. So our money is working for us there. Any questions so far? Okay, I think I got one more page here. Yes. On to page 13, revenue and expenses. If you look at Healthy Michigan capitation, it's at 79.72%. It's out of line with our 2/3 of the fiscal year done at 66.6%. The only reason we can, not the only, but the reason we were given that we have a high revenue is that fewer people unenrolled off from it, or we've had more people enroll into it, and that's why the revenue's a little high there. That's the other one. And of course, grants and earned contracts, it's a little bit low because we simply haven't incurred the expenses on that. If you look at the total operating revenue, it's at 65% roughly, 65.5. If you go down and look at the total operating, we're at 64.9. So once again, we're matching up our revenue and expenses fairly well. And to the time of the year, it is at 2/3 done. Hopping up to the expenses on occupancy, it's at 76.28. And I said, Andre, what are you doing? You're 10% over on that. No, I didn't say that. But he did give the explanation that what he has done is he went through and had all the windows, carpets, and ventilation system cleaned, which should happen every year or two or whatever. So that's going on. Any other questions before we go on to the motions? It's sounding pretty similar to last month. So holding steady, still need to work on getting our visits up. Okay. Let's jump back over to page 7. We have to pay the bills again. So, I recommend that the OnPoint board approve the June 2025 disbursements totaling $3,912,893.57.
I've always wondered, can't that just be a motion? Is there a reason why it's worded that way?
I never got it right.
I'm just curious.
It should be a motion.
She could make the motion as opposed to just recommend that somebody else on the board make the motion. I think we should change the wordage at that from now.
Yeah.
So Beth recommends that we, there we go,
Yes, I made the motion.
Okay. this. Do I have support? Yeah, right. And because it's money, I gotta go through and it's gotta be a vote. So Kim,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Crystal,
Yes.
Gail,
Yes.
Beth,
Yes.
me, yes. Jane,
Yes.
Deb,
Yes.
Karen.
Yeah.
Motion passed.
Okay. And on the next page, page 8, there's a few providers that you have to officially put on the contract list for this year. So I recommend that I move, thank you, that the OnPoint board approve the following list of provider contracts for fiscal year 2025.
Support. Support by Kim, great. Any other discussion? Money as well, let's see, Karen,
Yes.
Deb,
Yes.
Jane,
Yes.
I say yes, Beth,
Yes.
Gail,
Yes.
Crystal,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Glenn.
Yes.
and Jennifer.
Okay, our audit came back and there is a copy up here for each board member. Good bedtime. And with
Well, with good news that it
Yeah.
passed with, I
complete.
don't, you don't say flying colors, but it passed.
Yeah. Finance did a real nice job. And with that, I'm done.
Okay, thank you. Glenn, the recipient rights committee did not meet today, but is there anything you wanted to report?
I'm able to report this morning.
Okay. And Mary or Stephanie, do we have anybody online?
Tonight you get Mary.
Great. Will you please update us on matters related to LRE?
Well, probably, I don't know what's going on here. It's like I'm glowing or something weird. Here we go. Whew! I was looking a little too angelic, I know. Okay. So probably the most important thing that OnPoint tends to want to know about is our finances. So let me run through. Last time I was here, you guys asked me like, where was the ISF at the end of the year? And we didn't have those numbers. So I brought those numbers today with me. So fiscal year 24, which we have not cost settled with the state. So these are draft, but we believe this is what our numbers are. The ISF is at $29,425,286. Our Medicaid savings is at $12,843,996. So although it looks like we have about $42 million, we still have that issue outlying with the state of $13.7 million. They say that we owe them. So I will run through that with you momentarily, but I want to finish up my financials. So I believe Andre or Aaron probably have given you the update from the LRE perspective, but as of April FSR, the actual shows that we are $7 million across the region overspent. The projection was going to be $2 million to the good. So for fiscal year 25 May, it looks like we're trending in the wrong direction. We are $9 million overspent regionally. And it's still showing a projection of 3 million in the actual projection end of it. So we have a few months left here to turn it around. Although the projection from May shows that we will have about a $3 million end of year to the good, LRE does not believe that is going to be the case. The history of this region has been the numbers tend to get worse, not better. We do know our largest CMH in the region has made some cuts with providers. We have not seen the outcome of that yet. So hopefully it begins to trend in the correct direction. So the actual difference from the April to the May, we saw about a $1 million to the negative that we started to go in the wrong, 1.7 million in the wrong direction. And the projection was that we would have a $1.1 million to the good at that time. So that's on our financials. I want to let you know, if you recall back in the 1890-19 era where we, their region was upside down financially. We won the lawsuit in 22 that said that LRE had sufficient funds if they were willing to pay back the CMHs that had a balance of about $29.3 million they were carrying on their books from Medicaid services that were provided. We paid that back. Now the state is saying they want $13.7 million from the LRE on the cost settlement from that year. The LRE does not believe it owes that money. It followed the FSR template that the state provided. We also had a special meeting with them and they provided instructions, which we have walked through those instructions. Then they said, no, they didn't like how we did it. They wanted to change it after they saw that by following the method they gave us. It had no benefit to them. So we have engaged in a legal lawsuit against the state of Michigan at present time. And where the lawsuit is we filed the complaint to say we do not owe this money, that we are following what the judge said we could do, as well as the instructions from the state. The state has then since sent in their counter complaint of that. And then we have until August 13th to file our final rebuttal to what they said. And then we will either have a hearing or the judge will rule on it based on the information that's been submitted. So although it looks like we might have $41 million, we might only have about $28 million. So we're keeping that very at the forefront of what we're doing as far as business and actions. So the other major thing in our region that's happening, I'm sure maybe you guys have heard about it, is that MDHHS back in February dropped a press release that said, oh, we're going to competitively bid out the PHP system in a procurement. And then on the Friday before Memorial Day, they dropped a second press release with a little bit more detail about that. The primary responsibility of the LRE at present time is essentially two things: carrying out the contract we presently have with the state of Michigan and taking care of the employees that we have. So that's what we're trying to focus on at present time. Myself and leadership has been working with the CMH directors across the region to see what they're looking for to move forward. We're also looking at other regions. What are they proposing? And until the specs of the RFP drop, we don't know if we as a PHP will be able to bid. It looks like they're attempting to privatize the system. And at the end of the day, I think there's a lot of things we can all agree upon, but the public behavioral health system is exactly that. It should be public and remain public. So that's kind of where our energies are focused. Any questions for me?
Questions for Mary? I don't see any. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
Right. I have a couple of items to share from Friday's executive committee meeting. One was basically kind of the same as what Mary said, that I have no news regarding the LRE from the last month's meeting, or the state or the federal government, and that's all the good news that I have, is that there's no news. Good news, though, is that we have heard that there's our vacancy. There's been an application for that, and it's looking promising, and that it's likely that that board vacancy will be filled by August's meeting. So I'll be anxious to meet that person. And I let Mark know that as I was listening, I think it was at last month's program, and I've heard it other times, that there's we provide a mental health first aid training. And I told Mark that I would be interested in attending that and going through that process. And so I just wanted to let people know that if there was anyone else interested, and that we might explore kind of a group session for either a couple of board members or we join something that's already in progress, something like that. So let me or Mark know if you're interested, and we'll work on that. And then finally, I would like the board to reappoint Craig Van Beek to serve another term on the LRE board. His term is up. And I talked to him last month at the meeting, and he is very much willing to continue to serve. And if I had a motion for that, is that what you're saying, Gail?
I would make a motion to affirm the appointment of Craig Van Beek, pastor and commissioner, to the LRE board.
There's support for Gail's support. Support by Glenn. All right, any other discussion? All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? All right, terrific. All right, now, Mark, Will you please share items from your written CEO report and that you wish to emphasize or anything that you wanted to update us on?
Thank you. My report starts on page 26 in your packet. I think I can just summarize it by saying that the bottom line is that there really are a lot of good things going on in the organization. You've heard about them tonight, the program committee and the finance committee. And every month over the past several months, we've been talking about how things are continuing to move along and encouraging things in the city of, the county of Allegan and for the services that we're providing. The other thing I'll say is that storm clouds are on the horizon. Those two things, good things happening, threats around us. We talked last month about the federal Medicaid budget. We talked about the state PHP bid out, your motion to adopt that resolution of opposition was distributed to all of the members that were identified in it. Our state reps, state senators, director of the department, governor, lieutenant governor, and received responses from a number of them that they've received it. There's a long passage in the report, starts on page 26 at the bottom and continues on all the way to page 30. And I subjected you to the same treatment I gave our board, our staff members on July 7th. And they hate long emails from me, but I gave them, that's what I had to do because there was so much to say. I do want to just direct your attention to the last bit of page 29 and at the top of page 30. With all of the provisions that have been now passed into law through HR 1 and the number of the bill I can never remember, but anyway, through that reconciliation bill, the things that I feel like are grounding for us, reassuring and yet not sugarcoating things, is that we know that the information that was in the bill is a plan for 10 years. It's not stuff that all happens in one day. So things that are in the bill that have later effective dates may not necessarily see the light of day. We'll see how that goes. Second thing I put down is that the Congress left a lot of latitude for the executive branch to make decisions on how to implement what was approved. So we'll see how legislation is converted into regulation. The third thing is that court actions, I think, are likely with anything of this nature. We've already seen one action taken that reversed or at least put on hold for 2 weeks a provision that was in the bill. And in 3 days that was done. So things will happen like that. So this is not at all to be expected. Some things will not survive the constitutional tests. Fourth thing is that Medicaid is an entitlement. And in Michigan, the people that we serve are entitled to the services they receive, and that should not change. The revenue around it, the monies that come to the state have to be allocated at the level of need for the people we serve, for the benefits that we offer. And so all of the waivers that have been granted throughout the years for the Michigan Medicaid program continue in effect. Those were not canceled by this bill. So we'll see what happens. I think, yeah, so item 5, HR 1 didn't change Michigan's plan. There are certainly some things that are going to force the state to decide whether it wants to keep their waivers intact as they are or so forth, but none of that's been decided. And all of this is still a unique Michigan plan that we will see how it rolls. Number 6 on there is just simply that the Affordable Care Act itself, which expanded healthcare to people beyond those who were originally eligible for Medicaid. In a lot of states where that was done, the states opted to say, and if the federal government ever reduces their contribution, we're out of this. Michigan didn't do that. So the fact that you'll hear throughout the country that people are losing their Medicaid coverage because their state had to give up the program because it required them to put in a dime more than they did at the start of it. That is not Michigan's situation. And so I don't foresee Michigan's citizens, residents being wholesale dropped off coverage. And then finally, we have a mission here and we will do what we can do to serve our community in the full spirit of what we started this at in 1959 or 69. And we will work to do it as efficiently and productively as we can. But we're not really focused on the fear. We're focused on doing what our job is about. There's references here you can click on if you want to see it for yourself. But I just wanted to try to give both you and the staff a sense of anchoring around things that we can not be so worried about, but also take seriously at the same time. So wanted to say that. Final thing I'll just mention from here too is that it did have the opportunity on last week, Thursday, to present our annual report to the Board of Commission. And I wanted to just note, especially for the commissioners here, how much we appreciated their interest. We've had 3 of the 5 commissioners have been on this board. So the interest and support was obvious. And we do benefit a lot from the relationship we have with the county in that they provide us our facility services, support staff for that, the building operations support, as well as our IT operations are handled by them. 2 things that have been in place for quite a long time and continue, and that relationship is a really positive one. And so we had the opportunity to thank them for that day too. So that's really all I have. The rest of the stuff is for information. Any questions you have, I'd be happy to respond to.
Any questions for Mark? Thank you. There's now another opportunity for public comment. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to address the board? No one will even look at me. So I'm saying no. Okay. All right, I'll go around the table now to ask if there's any board members who wish to make a comment. Yeah. Yeah.
I found that the report that Mark gave to the Board of Commissioners was very interesting and he did a wonderful job. He didn't faint, so a lot of good information for the rest of the board that are not CMH members or former CMH members, because that type of information is critical for the understanding of our new members on the board. So good job for that. And a few things that I'd like to talk with Mark after the meeting, but people that are trying to get services in other counties and giving them suggestions. So looking for some more information. Thank you for all the hard work that you and your staff are doing. So the staff do a lot.
I just want to say, Kim, it's good to see you.
Yeah. What? Mark?
Nothing further.
Yeah. Good. Hey,
No comment.
all right. I'm good too. So, the next, board meeting will be August 19th. And may I have a motion to adjourn?
August 15th.
Is that your motion?
Yeah, oh, I have a motion.
To adjourn?
But no, I said August 15th.
Did I say it is?
15th. Okay. I thought you said the motion.
I think it is the night.
She did that.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Executive committee's 15.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like,
We'll get you there.
you'll get it.
I skipped over the other. one.
Oh, okay. I support.
I'm gonna say you made a motion.
I made a motion.
All in favor, say yes.
Yeah.